You know, Senator, Rhode Island's not unique to this. You look at some states, they're starting the fiscal year with a budget deficit. Rhode Island, even before this started, is about $200 million. You look at places like Twin River and some of the bigger businesses. Are you going to look at that thinking, okay, that can generate money, or we're just going to push that aside and it's just going to be safety first?
I think it really has to be safety first. I think you'd be really hard pressed to try to separate out Twin River from other large establishments that have a very similar risk profile and let Twin River go first just because they have a relationship with the state, and tell some other owner of some other similar business, sorry, you don't get to open, we're only doing Twin River. I think you really have to let safety and the science drive this, but have your purpose be to try to reopen as much as you can, as quickly as you can, and as safely as you can.
You know, today, Senator, we're hearing New York, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., they've extended their stay-at-home orders. So this is going to be different in every part of the country, correct?
Indeed. And Rhode Island, I think, has the benefit of having been one of the states that had a pretty early experience of this. And we've managed to keep our crest so far from being as acute, as critical as it was in New York and Seattle and other places. And if we keep going the way we are and begin to see things come down, we could be in the first group of states, the first movers to have to figure out how it is that we get to reopening. So we could be leading on this, and that's why it's important that we be aligned with where the federal government is, that the federal government know what we need to do and supports us. And that's why I was willing to sign up for this bipartisan task force, is because I think that's a very valuable role for me to be able to play, to try to coordinate between the federal reopening efforts and Governor Raimondo and her fellow governors' reopening efforts, so that Rhode Island not only leads the pack in recovery and reopening, but shows the example to the rest of the country as to what the right way is to do this.
Questions we're getting here at WPRI 12 and 12 Response, and I know the governor is getting a lot of it. She talked about it yesterday at her news conference. Will we be able to go to the beach? Will we be able to go to state parks? Because summer is right around the corner. Rhode Island is a tourism state. What do you say to that?
It clearly is a big attraction. It's clearly important. We may be in a situation in which, to keep people suitably distanced, we have to limit how many people go to the beach, that you sign up somewhere with DEM for your ability to go to the beach, and you've got to show that you've got your ability to go to the beach that day so that people can stay distanced from each other and you don't end up with people packed in the parking lot. There will probably be beach facilities that either can't be used or have to have very rigorous controls over how they're used to keep everything clean. You may have to have people, in the bathrooms at the beach 24/7, cleaning every minute to make sure that that doesn't become a vector. You just have to think about what it takes to be safe and then do your best to try to get there.
Senator, another question we're getting is about the stimulus checks. I know a lot of people are getting their money put into their deposit this week. Do you see down the road that we could have another round of stimulus money going out?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what we supposed here was that this thing was probably going to last, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, and that this would help tide people through a little bit during that period. If it's going to take longer, then there should be more. If it turns out that it's not enough, then there should be more. So Congress will be watching this closely, because our purpose here is to keep the economy from sinking. And at the moment, the boat's getting, pretty low in the water, but it's not sinking yet. And we've got to make sure that we keep doing everything we can for our hospitals, for our small businesses, for our workers, for our families, to make sure that they can get through this. Because if they can get through this, then on the other side, recovery comes very quickly. It's when you can't get through this, when your business is permanently sunk, when you've had to declare bankruptcy, when you've lost your savings, when you can't keep up your house payments. Those are the nightmares that we want to prevent from happening, because they make the economic recovery so much worse on the back end.
You look at Wall Street, you'll have a great day. Another day it'll go down 405 points, but it's starting to recover. Is that not a good barometer of what is going on across the country with so many unemployed? I think in Rhode Island now we have 160,000 people who filed for unemployment.
I think it's an indicator. Clearly, people on Wall Street are looking at the economy. They look with some degree of expertise. They're looking obviously at stock values more than anything else. So they're not a perfect indicator, but I think it's a signal when Wall Street is still buoyed up reasonably well that our economic recovery prognosis looks pretty good. If we had a very, very big crash in addition to the losses we've already experienced, then that creates the kind of undertow, I guess you'd call it, economic undertow, that makes it very, very hard to get back safely to shore from this and to get everybody back on their feet again economically.
And Senator, finally, lessons learned from all of this?
I would say the biggest lesson we've learned from all of this is that a lot of the people we thought were very important actually aren't very important. And a lot of the people we didn't show much respect to turn out to be the most important people of all. The people who are delivering our packages, the people who are cleaning the emergency rooms, the people who are providing healthcare services, the people who are the nurses and the nursing home staff. It's really been a remarkable spotlight on who really, really keeps America going.
And if you look at it, Senator, too, just the education part of it with so much remote learning going at home and moving forward, I don't know if we'd ever have a snow day again with kids being able to learn at home.
Well, you know, one thing I've been fighting for a long time, it's a small thing, but it's telehealth, to be able to deal with your doctor over the telephone, over the video phone, and have the doctor able to get compensated for that time. And if there's one little good thing that's come out of this, it's that we have surged into telehealth. And from that, there's no going back.
Rhode Island Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, thank you, Senator, for taking out the time.
Thank you, Mike.